Joined tonight by our News4Jax political analyst, Rick Mullaney, director of the Jacksonville University Public Policy Institute.
It's always great to have you here. So, Rick, the final primary debate. Iowa is coming soon. Is this what you expected? I popped my head in while you were watching the debate, and you were frustrated.
Well, part of it I did expect. Nikki Haley has had the momentum in the first three debates, and you sort of expected her to be attacked, and she clearly was attacked. Very first question to Ron DeSantis, he attacked Nikki Haley. Vivek Ramaswamy, very first question, attacked Nikki Haley. So that was expected. Also, it was sort of expected that they would attack each other instead of Donald Trump, and that happened too. But the frustration you saw is that I thought the first 35 minutes in particular was really very personal, very unprofessional, and non-presidential. Less on policy and more on personalities, and very much a very strong attack. And I thought that was disappointing.
So foreign policy then, that caught some of the attention, especially discussions of how they would handle Israel. And you were looking for, well, what about Ukraine? This foreign policy discussion always kind of turned away from those and toward China. Did anyone really separate themselves when it came to that tonight?
Well, on foreign policy, often the strength here is Nikki Haley, and she, of course, again, talked tonight about China, Iran, Russia, and of course, Israel. But one of the things that happened with Israel was Vivek Ramaswamy, when he was talking about his approach to Israel, saying, let them kind of go it alone, but give them the freedom to fight their fight. And on Ukraine, part of that isolationist wing of the Republican Party, he was really taken to task by Chris Christie, who had a very contrasting point of view, saying, in fact, he would send in the military with a right plan to rescue the American hostages if it could be done, and contrasting sharply on Ukraine. Foreign policy, Kent, is one of those places where there is a fracture in the Republican Party, and some of those differences were shown tonight.
We were listening to a lot of the questions that were asked, and the candidates were forced to talk about Donald Trump. He wasn't there. You know, even when he's not there, he still has this big force, a focal point for the Republicans.
Understandably so. He has a big league. He's the likely nominee. We're 6 weeks away from Iowa. He's in the low 40s in Iowa, so if there's consolidation, maybe somebody could cut that lead. He's got a big lead in New Hampshire. He has even bigger leads nationally. He has been very wise politically, maybe not in the best interest of the voters, but politically to avoid these debates. And when you see the kind of debate you had tonight where they're going after each other, I think they're diminished, and I think it helps Donald Trump. But it's no big surprise that he casts a big shadow, that his presence was looming, because he is the likely nominee, and they're trying to get there. And I don't know if tonight helped any one of them cut the lead, his lead.
All four of those candidates, though, because of the timing, because it's getting close to Iowa, all four of them pretty energetic, pretty revved up to make a point tonight.
They really were. You could tell that the time now is shorter. This was a different kind of debate. The time is short. There's only four on the stage. The stakes are very high. For Ron DeSantis, this is a post-Gavin Newsom debate style. He was much more energetic. He was much more aggressive. I think he had a pretty good night. For Vivek Ramaswamy, he was pretty far out. He said he would be, and he was, and I think oftentimes crossing the line when it comes to professionalism. Chris Christie had a very good night, I thought, and took the others to task. And I think Nikki Haley maybe was trying to appear presidential, but oftentimes was on the defense with so much incoming. But as usual, she's a very skilled debater. She did well, but spent much of the night on defense.
All right. Rick Mullaney, we appreciate the insight. Thank you very much tonight.